Once you're settled in, try to relax your shoulders a little more. Maybe you turn your head to the left, stretching out the right side of the neck. Think about squeezing or crunching out any tension on the left side of your body and opening up, expanding the right side of your body. And with every inhale, try to relax a little more. And with every exhale, try to open up that right side a little bit more. Think about all the organs that reside on the right side of your abdomen. And imagine that they're getting a break right now. They're not being weighed down by gravity. They're not being smushed by other organs. See if you can lean a little deeper into that left side, getting a little deeper into the pose. Take 5 more deep breaths in this pose. When you exhale that 5th breath, slowly start to come out of the pose, walking the body back to the center of your mat. You're going to bend both of your knees when you get there, and then just allow the knees to fall from left to right. If you want to include the arms, you can reach for opposite elbows above the head and allow the elbows to go the opposite way of the knees. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, straighten out your legs, straighten out your arms above your head. Just circle out the ankles and wrist. Open and close the palms, curl the toes. And then walk your feet over to the right side of your mat. Start to lean into your right side, reaching your right hand down towards your heel. And then if you want more, cross that left leg on top of right. Reach that left arm above the head, and maybe turn your head to the right. And notice how this side feels. Notice if you're able to lean into this side more than the other. Think about squeezing and crunching the right side of your body, opening up the left side. Think about the organs on this side of the abdomen. Allow them to get a break. Allow them to have more space with every breath. Make sure there's no tension on that right shoulder. Seeing if you can lean a little deeper into that right side. And 5 more deep breaths in your banana. Trying to find as much space on the left side. Squeeze out any toxins or negativity on the right side. And then coming out of your banana, when you exhale that 5th breath, you can windshield wiper your knees once again or make any little movements to the side body that feel good. The next pose that we're going to be doing can be done with a block, a bolster, a blanket, or without a prop. You're going to be on your right side, and your prop, if you're using it, is going to support your ribs, and you're going to have your elbow, your right elbow, right underneath your shoulder, and then we're just going to rest here. So if you're not using the prop, you might have more pressure on the spine, so I recommend using it on either level 1 or level 2 if you're using a block. You can also roll up a towel or a blanket to support the right side of your body. Your legs are going to be nice and straight. If you want your left hand down in front of you, you can, but I recommend resting it on your leg. And then if you'd like, you can take your right ear and just kind of rest it towards the right shoulder and close the eyes. Now, if that's not comfortable on the head, I would suggest keeping it at a more neutral position and keep the shoulder away from the ears. So coming into your position, try to get comfortable. Try to feel a gentle stretch. If you are not bringing the ear to the shoulder, then keep the shoulder pressed away. Good. Now, if you are resting the right ear towards the right shoulder, go ahead and press firmly into the elbow and bring the head up to a more neutral position. Keep that engagement of the elbow pressing into the floor, and then bring your right hand to support the right side of the head. So now you're making a little pedestal for the head. Less pressure on the neck. If that doesn't feel good, then readjust for the last minute of the pose. Close the eyes, visualize the moon. The moon shining on the top of your head, traveling down your entire back side of your body. Just keep visualizing the moon. And at any time tonight you have the time, I challenge you to go out and meditate with the moon. Just stare at it. Start to pull your left shoulder away from your ear. Start to lengthen the neck. So just try to grow taller through the upper body. And then slowly bring that right hand back down if it's supporting the head. And then try to lengthen the head once again, the neck. Pull the right shoulder away from the ear and look down at your mat. So you're turning your head to your right. Feel the stretch on the left side of your neck. Stay here for 5 more breaths. Good. Now when you're ready to come out of that pose, remove your prop if you're using it. Slowly come into tabletop and take some cat and cows. And notice how your spine feels as you inhale and exhale. Make sure your hands are right underneath your shoulders, knees under hips. When you're done with your cat and cows, find your way to your left side. If you're using your prop, you're going to support the left side of the body, the ribs, with your prop. Make sure that your left elbow is right underneath the shoulder. The legs are stacked, the right hand's resting. You can take your left ear to your left shoulder, see how it feels. If it doesn't have too much pressure on the head or the neck, you can stay there or keep that head at a neutral position. Try to get comfortable while noticing how this side feels. Start to visualize the moon once again shining on your head. It's shining so bright, it's covering your entire body. If you have your left ear towards your left shoulder, go ahead and bring the head up to a neutral position and pull the right shoulder away from the ear. And then take the left hand to support the head. Make a little pedestal and then pull the left shoulder away from the ear. Press firmly into that left elbow. Bring your left hand back down And look down at the floor, stretching out the right side of the neck. Keep both shoulders away from the ears. Spend 5 deep breaths here. After your 5th breath, slowly push yourself up. Find that tabletop position once again. This time when you do your cat and cows, try to add a little circle to it. Maybe you circle your head, maybe you circle your hips. Just kind of see how the shoulders, the neck, and everything feels. I like to call this free flowing, doing what you want for a few moments. Once you're done free flowing, find your way to a seated position. You might want to use the wide side of your mat. We're going to have the right leg straight and the left leg bent. If you have a prop, you might want to use a block or something to bring the floor higher to you. I'll show you the pose that we'll be doing. We're going to be taking a side lean into the right side. Now, you can have your right hand resting down. Your left hand can be on the shoulder or reaching up. Or you can have both hands behind your head and take your right elbow to your prop and the left elbow towards the sky. The head might not like looking up. The left shoulder might get a little cranky. So if it does, you can take a half bind with that left hand and just rest the right hand on the head or the leg. One thing I suggest is trying to align your right hip and heel. So if your heel is forward more than your hip, you may not have as much of a bend. So if you need to open up that leg, please do that. And this is a deep stretch. So once again, you only go into your comfort level. Good. Okay. If you're going to do this option, I'm going to bring it back. If you have the left hand behind your head, go ahead and straighten that arm, reaching for the right toes. Flex the right foot. Stay in the pose. Just reach the left hand up or straight and start to wiggle the fingers. And if this feels good, you can stay here or you can take a half bind if you haven't already. Reach the arm behind the back and imagine you're sending your chest towards the sky. Feel free to look up if you want to stretch the neck. Good. Now with that right arm, reach for the right toes. Wiggle the fingers as you look at the toes. And then hold on to the leg or foot and take a deeper lean into that right side. Pull both shoulders away from your ears. Spend 5 breaths here. When you're done, slowly come out of it. Do a couple of circles with that left shoulder. And then do a couple of lifting and lowering of that left knee. And then you can go on into the other side when you're ready. Straighten your left leg. Try to align the hip and heel as much as you can. If you're using your prop, move it over to the left side. And then see how this side feels, whether you're able to put the hand behind the head and lean. For me, my shoulder doesn't like this side, so I'm going to try another option. Notice whether you're able to lean a little more or a little less. Keep that left foot flexed. Support your right knee if you need to. On your next inhale, option to reach the right arm above the head, reaching for the left toes, wiggling the fingers if you're taking that option. And then taking a half bind, reaching the hand behind the back, rolling the shoulders back, sending the chest towards the ceiling. And then reaching the left hand for the left toes, looking at the toes, wiggle the fingers, and then hold on to the leg wherever you can, folding. For 5 more breaths, pull those shoulders away from your ears. And slowly come out of the pose when you're ready. Slow circles with the right shoulder, a couple lifting and lowering of the right hip. You can come to easy pose, close down the eyes and just circle the body. Circle at the waist, get into the shoulders, bend the elbows. Once again, free flow, do what feels good. Whatever movements your body needs tonight. The next pose is going to be stretching for the wrist. I'll give you 2 options. It can be done from easy pose or butterfly. So actually, I'll give you 3 options. Butterfly might be more of a challenge. Easy pose would be less of a challenge. You're going to have your fingers down and your fingers facing your body and your palms down. For more of a challenge, you'll come more into like a lion or hero pose where you bring the soles of the feet together and the knees a little wider. And then the hands will go inside of the legs and you'll press the palms down. So pick which option. When you press the palms down, you want to make sure that your fingers are spread and that you're feeling a stretch. Remember, we're holding this pose for a little while. So if you need to support the hips or Any area of the body, go ahead and support it. And if you need to bring the floor higher to you, you can also do that. Sometimes that'll help the stretch. You can use blocks. This one will be holding for 2.5 minutes. And if you're taking the option where you're on your knees, try to pull your shoulders back away from your ears. Don't slouch into the shoulders. If you want to stretch the neck while you're here, slightly lift the chin. Maybe bring a little smile to your face. And once again, visualize the moon. This time the moon shining right on your forehead, your third eye, and your throat chakra. You're halfway through the pose. Six more breaths. When you're ready to come out of the pose, take your time, shake a hand out, then another hand. Just shake them out when you're done. Do a couple opening and closing of the palms. And our next pose is going to be getting into your lymphatic system. So you want to make L shapes with your hands. And then you want to take your thumbs right underneath your elbow crease, your armpit creases, and then lift up. You want your elbows aligned with one another. And this is our pose. So once you get into it, try not to shrug the shoulders, relax into the shoulders. If you want to add a mudra and your fingers touch, you can bring the tips of the fingers together, or you can just rest the hands on the chest. So once you get in the pose, align the elbows, shoulder level as much as possible, and then relax the shoulders down. Tighten the belly and slightly lean back so you're sitting up nice and tall. And close the eyes. And now we'll imagine the moon shining on our shoulders. If you have manda locks or any type of locks or binds in your practice, you can start to include them when you inhale, tightening and bringing everything into your core, activating your kundalini in the body. And if you're not sure how to do and you want to try, think about having to go to the bathroom and you're squeezing all of your muscles in front of your body and then include the back side of your body. You're squeezing in and up without causing tension or tightening the shoulders. You might start to feel the body getting warm if you're taking this option. We've got 5 more breaths in the pose. Try to lift the elbows a little more. Try to relax the shoulders a little more. Take one more deep breath. Sigh it out the mouth and release the pose and just roll the shoulders back or roll the head in a circle. The next pose is either going to be puppy dog or a child's pose variation. I suggest using a prop or a block to support the head or neck. If you're taking puppy dog, your hips are going to be stacked above your knees. You can be on the fingertips or the palms can be flat. The forehead can be resting on a block or the floor. If you're taking child's pose, you're separating those knees wider and you want to keep your hips towards your heels. I recommend puppy dog tonight, but if you prefer child's pose, it's your prerogative. So getting as comfortable as you can, supporting the body in whichever way you need to. You want to make sure your knees are good, your hips are good, your neck is good. Remember, the block, if you're using it, has 3 levels. Holding this pose a little longer. Visualize the moon once again. This time the moon is shining right on your backside. It's traveling down from your tailbone to the top of your head. It's removing any obstacles that you may have in your life right now. If you have a little sway in your lower back, like a rounding, go ahead and pull your navel in and try to flatten your back. Unless this causes pain on the knees, then try to hold that flat back. If you need to walk the hands under the shoulders to support the head, you can do that. We're going to do 5 cleansing breaths with pelvic floor tilts. So when you inhale, pull the navel in, flatten your back. And when you exhale, arch the back, allow the belly to go towards the thighs and sigh it out. So big breath in, engage the core, flatten the back, sigh it out. Good. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Good. If you need a down dog, feel free to take it. If you need a break on your knees, please come off them. Or just come out of the pose and start to move around. We're going to be threading the needle as our next pose. I will give you 2 options as well. So once you're done moving around, you can come back to that puppy dog and thread your right arm underneath the body, keeping your left palm flat and the elbow bent. Option 2 is going to be from seated, and that's going to be crossing the right arm across the body and using the left hand as a helper. So on the knees is going to give you that deeper stretch, but if your knees need a break, then you can go to seated. You can either rest your forehead on the block or floor, or turn the head to the left and rest the right side of the head on the floor or block. Go into your deep breathing. Start to open and close the right palm. You've got 30 more seconds in the pose. When you're ready to come out of the pose, take your time. You can do a couple circling of the right shoulder or any movements that you want, and then we'll go into the left side. So once again, from the left side, you can thread that left arm under the body, or you can sit up and stretch the arm in that way. And if you're on the floor, you want to keep that right arm bent and the palm flat for at least about 5 breaths. And then if you choose to straighten the arm, you can. You can start to open and close your left palm. And you've got 30 more seconds. And slowly coming out of your pose when you're ready. Do some movements. So our next pose can be done on the floor or by a wall if you have the wall near you. If you're using the floor, you're going to start on your stomach with your right arm extended out to the side and the palm flat. You're going to bring your right shoulder down, and then you're going to try to roll onto that right shoulder and bring your left foot behind your right leg, and your left hand kind of holds you in place. Now, if you'd like to do this seated and use the wall, you're going to place your left palm flat on the wall. You want to try to align the hand with the shoulder, and then you're going to twist your body away from the wall. And using the wall is nice because you can keep the fingers spread, and then you get a nice little stretch of the hand and the shoulder. It's a little different. So start facing the window and then rotate towards away from it. There you go. Gently, careful. Yes, it can be good. It can be very intense. And breathe deeply. And for you, you want to spread your fingers and flatten your palm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're both really good stretches. You know? These are both really good stretches to counteract the rounding of the shoulder. And for whoever's using the wall, if you start to bring the shoulder forward and back, if you get knots in the scapular area, this is a nice little movement for the rotator cuff and to try to release some of those tight spots. You've got 30 more seconds, so breathe deeply and send the breath to the right shoulder. If you're using the wall and you want to take your left ear to your left shoulder, that might deepen your stretch. Now, if you were using the wall, go ahead and start to come out of your pose. You're going to do a couple inhaling with the arms up and exhaling hands back to heart. If you were using the floor, you're going to roll onto your belly, reach your arms above your head, and then find cactus arms, squeezing the shoulder blades and elbows, and then stretching them up and bending them back. So do about 5 of those breaths. And then when you're ready, you can find that stretch on the other side, either using the floor, rolling onto the opposite shoulder, or using the wall. Whichever option, make sure that your hand is spread. You're pressing firmly. And the shoulders are away from the ears. And this side might be tighter. Press into it. This side less tight or more tight. Just as tight. Okay. Good. Okay, and turn to flatten your palm. Yeah, that one. So breathe way deeper. And if you're using the wall and you want to do that, lifting the shoulder and then lowering it back down, you can do that a couple times. Try to deepen the stretch for the last 5 breaths. If you're using the wall, come on out of the pose. Do a couple circles or movements. Hopefully your shoulders feel nice. And then come onto your back. If you're on your belly, you can go ahead and stretch those arms up and down a couple times and then head onto your back. For those of you here with me, you want to make sure that you have enough space to do some spinal twists, because that's where we're headed next. And when you get onto your back, I want you to lengthen your body. So think about someone pulling your feet and pulling your hands. So you're like stretching your body in opposite ways. And then spread your fingers, turn your palms to face the sky, and bend the elbows and lower the hands and elbows on the ground. So we're in goalpost arms. Next, we'll bend the knees and flatten the feet. And try to press your lower back onto the ground. And then you'll bring your feet aligned with your knees. So 90-degree angle. Press that lower back down onto the ground again. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, allow your knees to fall to the left. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat. If your knees don't reach the ground, you're going to scoot your hips over to the right and then try to find a deeper twist. And then turn your head to the right. So knees go to left, look to the right, close the eyes, and just be in your spinal twist. There you go. Really try to plant the elbows down. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, bring your knees back to the center of your mat. Lower your feet. Bring your hips back to the center if you scooted them over. And then straighten your legs, straighten your arms, lengthen your body. Imagine someone's pulling your hands and your feet once again. And then as you bend your knees, press your lower back onto the ground. Feet are flat. Start to bend the elbows, finding those cactus arms once again. So your shoulders and elbows and hands are on the mat. Your lower back's on the mat. Squeeze the belly, bring your knees up. Feet align with knees. Inhale. And as you exhale, knees fall to the right. When they get there, if they don't reach the floor, go ahead and scoot your hips to the left. Try to stack your left hip on top of your right. And then look to the left. Okay. I'm going to try to bring your hands down. Take a deep breath in through your nose. As you exhale, bring your knees back to center. Flatten your feet and bring your hips back to center. Prepare yourself for Savasana. Get comfortable. Make sure you're warm. You can bring the soles of the feet together and open the knees wide. And if anybody here needs anything to make yourself more comfortable, just lift your arm. I'll bring you what you need. So once you settle in, reconnect with your breath. If you'd like to visualize the moon once again, you can visualize the moon shining on the soles of your feet. Allow the moon to shine bright from the soles of the feet, up the legs, into the hips, the belly, and just allow it to radiate over the entire body. Allow it to calm you. Allow it to strengthen you and turn any negative energy into useful, positive energy. You can take one last deep breath. Perhaps you tighten all of the muscles in your body, your hands, your toes, your shoulders, your chest, your belly. And then open the mouth and let it all go. On your next inhale, start to visualize the moon once again. This time it's shining above your heart. Allow the moon's light to radiate through your entire body. Allow your heart to feel full, to feel love. And allow that love and that fulfillment to radiate through your entire being. And as you inhale, start to bring movement to the body. Just very gentle movement. And whenever you're ready, you can take a gentle banana stretch to the right, and just leaning into your right side body. And notice how it feels now in comparison to that first lean to your right. And then take a gentle lean or banana over to your left. And notice how that side feels. You can find a fetal position rolling onto whichever side you want. And keep your eyes closed when you come into your fetal. Take one last deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out your mouth as you slowly push yourself up into a comfortable seated position. When you get to your seated position, acknowledge how you feel. I hope you feel lighter than you did when you first stepped onto your mat. I hope you feel more relaxed. And I hope you feel at ease. Let's inhale deeply through our nose. Inhale a little more. And as you exhale, bring your hands to a prayer, chin closer to your chest, and let's seal our practice. I thank you all so much for joining me tonight. The light within me honors and cherishes the light within you all. Namaste.